pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police he's covered. They killed my boyfriend. He's licensed, he's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir, no worries, I will. What? He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone. Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
Get the female passenger out.
Ma'am, exit the car right now with your hands up. Let me see your hands. Exit now. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
That was tragic. That was the Minnesota shooting. I'm Greg Lassiter. You're watching 30 Frames.
Some light slacks, it appears. There's a trash can there in that pillar. Now he's kind of crouching down behind that. You see the SUV with flashers on.
Yes, I see that. And
seems to be shooting from a different angle.
yes, he's shooting. You can tell.
Here comes someone running up. Shots are fired. He comes around the pillar.
Yes, it's obvious that the person who was shot in this instance, there's still shots going on, was unaware that the other person was there at that time.
Into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy.
Hi, welcome to 30 Frames a Second. And I'm Greg Lassiter, here with the creator of 30 Frames, Nat Woods. Nat, how are you today? I know you're fumbling with your mic, but that's okay. Guys, what you just witnessed, seriously, was 2 different videos. One with the Minnesota, the Castile shooting, where the policeman asked the gentleman for his ID, as well as the gentleman said, I have a license to carry and I have a weapon.
Yeah.
Can you guys, I'm still hearing something on the YouTube of that video of Castile. Thank you. But, so I don't understand if I tell you you're in an open to carry state, you ask me when you come to the car, when you come to my car, I tell you I'm carrying a weapon and I have a permit for it. You ask me for the permit and I still get shot and killed? I don't know. That's a lot of questions we're gonna ask today, and the phones are working. We have a different number, so when it's time, you guys will welcome the phone call. But Nat.
Sorry about that. I ruined your big moment.
I have lots of moments.
And I have lots of ways to ruin moments.
Nat, we're in a sad state. We are in a very sad state. And I have to say, though, this is all been brewing for years.
Yeah.
But I want to think largely, in part, who's responsible for this is Donald Trump. And the reason I say that is because Donald Trump just came out and he spewed racism. And so the American people says, okay, if Donald Trump, who's a presidential candidate, can be a racist, why can't I? Why can't I be upfront about it? Which explains where we are.
First of all, I want to apologize to my crew. My crew did a hell of a job getting those videos up,
Yes,
and I
they did.
managed to mess it all up at the end.
I'm not gonna say anything.
But it's my show. I'm the
You can do whatever you
That's
do whatever
right,
you want.
That's right. But I'll wait a minute before I get to Donald Trump, because I think Donald Trump is just the ultimate opportunist. I don't think he's the ultimate villain. I think that this attitude, this racist, xenophobic attitude in America has been slowly brewing for quite some time. And Donald Trump has just been able to seize upon this in ways that no one else has been able to seize upon, because Donald Trump understands Showtime.
Right.
The rest of them
it's just what it is. It's a show to him.
It's a show.
It's a total show.
He's playing to the applause.
And he's playing to the applause, right?
Right.
He has no intention of wanting to be or have the knowledge to be the leader of the free world.
Well, I don't know. It is. I found that when people are in there, whether they wanted to win or not the first time, you kind of want to win.
Yeah, but
once you're in there.
But once you
the ego kicks in.
Right. But winning, be careful what you ask for.
Right.
Because it's a hell of a responsibility.
Right.
Like you and I carry the responsibility of the information that we give to the public.
The world, the white European world is not responding very well to the economic changes that are brewing in the browning of the world.
Okay.
They are not prepared for it. There are a lot of white people. Brexit is a perfect example.
Right.
They are not handling competition well, especially those people who are traditionally were able to be successful without any definable skill.
Right, without any effort.
Right.
That's correct.
And now they find themselves competing in a global market for opportunities to work that don't pay as much and don't offer them the opportunity to work.
But you know what's sad is that I see, since we're on the Brexit,
right.
What's going to happen remember back in the 80s, when there was no jobs in Europe, and the big thing was the UB40.
Ain't no job in Europe now.
So here's the thing, especially in the UK, everybody was on the dole.
Right.
So now, believe it or not, it's coming back to that. It's going to come back to that.
And there's no Queen Isabella to bail Europe out. There's no Holy Roman Empire to bail Europe out. There's no King Charles to bail France out. Whereas they could rely on being Europe could rely on being marauder nations and colonizers to sustain their population. They do not have a Spanish armada. They do not have...
they have no allies.
Right.
No allies
and they
whatsoever.
have no resources.
Right. Nothing to back.
Correct.
Because
England wants to, the United Kingdom wants to be desperately on their own, but they ain't got nothing. What you gonna sell?
And see, that's the way they voted. It's a lot how America thinks about how America is.
Correct.
And look at the state that we're in. Now let's talk about all Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Now I've been ranting on my social media about. Everybody says all lives matter. Okay, guess what? Black lives matter because, one, we as black men are one police stop away from being killed.
Yeah, and do all lives matter equally?
Right, that's another thing. Do you white people, and I'm not saying this in a racist sense, because that's not who I am, but do you say to your kids or your husband, oh my God, I have to worry about your husband leaving or coming home, or your kids leaving and coming home? You don't. So if all lives matter, you would say that. But all lives doesn't matter. You know, and for the cops out there, I want to say this. You're only blue for 40 hours a week. I'm black 24/7, 365. So you guys don't think our lives matter. That's why Black Lives Matter. You understand?
There's a lot of things going on with the police. When you do, the reason why the police are the fall guys, and it's not by Black Lives Matter. It's by politicians who are using the police to further their careers. Dudes like Giuliani.
Right.
When they talk about you have to be mindful of the police, you have to be respectful of the police. They don't want to correct the systemic problems within the police departments all over America that is contributing to this, basically because this is where their bread is buttered and this is where they get the massive federal funds that they rely on to enrich their own personal careers.
That's correct. But you know what I also say, too? Like, everybody's quick to say, not all cops are bad. But guess what? If you don't stand up or stand out against the bad cops, I don't care about the blue wall. If you don't stand up or stand out against the bad cops, you're no different than a bad cop.
And there's basically a handful of people in all of America who has who says anything about all cops one way or another.
Right.
Most of Americans deal with the issue at hand at the time is at hand. There's no sign coming from Black Lives Matter that says all cops are evil.
Right.
Not
not
one.
seeing that. Not one. Right.
That's correct. There's certain minute segments that come up with slogans like "F the police."
Right.
But they've been doing that since they invented police.
Right. That has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
That has nothing to do with
the cause.
People vilifying policemen.
Right.
But it does allow you to put all the focus on the people and all the focus on the police and no focus on the fact that you have things like Comstat in New York where the police are instructed to go out and make arrests, no matter how petty the arrest is.
Comstat is bull. Comstat is bull.
Right. Where the U.S. government militarizes the police, so they have all of these weapons. They are paid to not only boost their numbers, but hire more and more policemen. So there's a lot of people who should not be police. They are not. I mean, that gentleman, you could train him from now to doomsday.
No,
he was never supposed to be.
And he made a detective.
He was in over his head from Jump Street. And when you instruct him to stop people in a carry state, why are you in a carry state? They instruct you to stop people for things like broken headlights, for traffic signals, approach them as if they're the most deadly people in the world. You're scared that he might have a gun, but it's an open carry state, so you're not going to do anything about that law because you're not going to go against the NRA. But the whole thing is a catastrophe waiting to happen.
But moreover, what I'm hurt about is that you're in an open carry state, okay? How many white people, statistically, have been killed by the policemen in an open carry?
Very few. Very few.
So now call it. What do you call it? What do you call it? It's to be killed. If a black man with a gun, I'm going to shoot you and kill you. This gentleman, this Castile, he didn't do anything.
Why are 8 cops surrounding Eric Garner in the first place?
Eric Garner,
You know, on some petty stuff like that.
Right. Why did he have to die?
Right.
Why did the kid selling CDs have to die?
Right.
Why did Sandra Bland have to die?
Correct.
So
why are you? There's video. You want to talk about footage? There's video footage of a cop tailing a 16-year-old girl on a bicycle, pulling up straight behind her until she gets nervous or whatever, gets off the bike, The cop engages this little teenage girl in conversation. As teenagers go, she gets belligerent.
Of course.
You know, but you're a professional.
Right.
You're not
You should be
supposed
better
to
than that.
body slam
A 16-year-old.
anybody who
Right.
gets belligerent. I
Right.
can't do that to my children. I
Right.
can't do that to my grandchildren.
So why should
I
they have
can't
the choice?
slam my granddaughter every time she sucks her teeth because she
Right.
doesn't want to hear what I got to say.
Right.
And they're supposed to
just
be
a teenager.
professional. Yeah, it's a teenager.
Right.
It's a kid. Some people get annoyed when you stop them for no apparent reason.
Right.
You as the professional, you as the paid professional, should be the one
Big enough and professional enough.
Professional enough to quell this to react to this kind of situation.
But see, here's the problem I have. We have to, as African Americans, white people, we have to have a dialogue because, you know, the government, there's a race war that's going to brew, without a doubt. It's coming. It's coming. And we have to stop it. We look at this right here. Look at this right here. This is what's at the
Yeah, that's it.
That's the 16-year-old, right.
That's it, exactly.
This is video.
She's on a bike.
She's on a bicycle. And a lieutenant or captain is on scene.
This is a kid.
That's ridiculous.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
What is wrong
Black
with...
Lives Matter didn't do that.
No, right. White cops did that. For what reason? She doesn't have a gun. She's doing... What did she do?
Why are you torturing every person you think...
Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. What is the
That's
point
ridiculous.
of that? What is the point of that? That's your professional? That's your professional?
Look, he's choking her.
This is a kid. A girl.
And there's no reason for it. See, things have to change in America because if they don't, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And I'm over it. I'm over it.
And Police Commissioner Bratton.
Right.
Whatever commissioner you want to talk about, you have a problem. You are engaging people for little or nothing.
Did he just shoot her?
No, but he.
Did he just? No, he just tased her, I think.
Yeah,
he just tased her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and this is not an anomaly.
Right.
This is occurring all over the country.
Right.
In different forms of fashion.
These are the ones that's reported and caught on video.
Correct, on video.
Right.
And that's the only thing that's different is the video camera, the telephone video camera in the equation.
But here's the problem with that. When you have video camera that tells the whole story, the police are quick to say, you didn't see the whole footage. Yes, we did see the whole footage. And what is it that when you see the whole footage, how is it that a jury of your peers can see this footage and still you walk away free?
Why did they body tackle a guy? I mean, what is so horrific about a person selling CDs?
Right.
Especially
that he had permission.
Right, that he had permission to sell. Why is that so horrific that it's necessary to slam him to the ground? And how is it so dangerous that you would then remove your weapon for this little thing and blast him point blank range again and again and again? How is
Because that could have been my son, that could have been your son, that could have been your grandson. You know, and I am slayed by how screwed up we are. And I'm going to tell you, if you're a cop and you're afraid, get another damn job.
Not everybody should be cops.
Not everybody.
Not
just because
everybody
you know
should
what?
be cops.
It slays me that
not everybody should be cops. I shouldn't be a cop.
I know I shouldn't be.
I'm scary. I shouldn't be a cop.
I'm gonna tell you now. I'm glad I'm not a cop.
Right.
I got a lot of cops in my family. I'm glad I'm a cop because you run from me, I'm gonna shoot you in the leg.
Right.
So that's
and a lot of people who have guns
shouldn't have guns.
Shouldn't have anything more than plastic spoons to eat with. I mean, they are that out of control, that out of dangerous, that violent.
There's so many. These southern states that have open to carry, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, all these Minnesota, all these places that have these open to carry, and these people, these people, why do you need an AR-15? Why do you need an assault rifle?
Crime is down all over the country.
Except for New York.
Violent crime is down significantly in New York.
That's what they say. That's what ComStat says. Here it is. Here's the LA. Here's the Louisiana shooting. Now, I saw this from the beginning, where he was just having a conversation, and he was, he has his bouts with back and forth with the policeman, but at what point he did have a gun on him?
Yeah.
But what point they didn't know he had a gun.
Maybe they can find the raw footage, but it's not necessary.
Yeah. You've all seen it. And then you hear the cops say the F-bomb. He dropped the F-bomb when he shot. So now, I've been watching social media, and it slays me when they say, "Oh, he was a molester, child molester. He had a gun on him." They didn't even know he had a gun on him until they killed him, and they pulled it out of his pocket.
Right.
Why is it that every time a black person gets shot, we have to talk about their criminal history? Who cares?
Well,
who cares?
I did.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is incredible.
He's already handcuffed.
But why did they slam him in the first place? Why did they feel the necessity to do that? What was he doing?
You know what? We're gonna have a lot of calls. Guys, open up the lines. Open up the lines, because I want to get there has to be a solution to this. It's not a war.
Right.
Because we're gonna kill each other off. So we have to come up with one. We need to.
And the
police
Dallas shooter was not created by Black Lives Matter.
No, it wasn't.
The Dallas shooter was created by the U.S. military.
Right, and they wanted to blame Black Lives Matter.
I don't know what that guy was trained in, but he wasn't.
He was vicious. He was vicious.
But he was good.
He was very good.
I mean, he was good.
He was on a mission.
Fire on one side, moved around the other, and blasted the cop.
But he was on a mission. He was on a mission.
But one guy created a kill zone and was able to pop off cops in the stampede. This guy was created. I mean, gang members aren't that good.
Right. No. Right.
ISIS isn't that good.
Right.
Most soldiers aren't that good.
That's right.
Most policemen aren't that good.
Not even close to being good.
This is sniper type stuff.
Right.
This is assassin type stuff.
Right. And it's scary.
Whatever he was doing is so classified that we'll probably never know. But only the U.S. military could create anybody that good.
Yet this is a tragic thing, and I'm mourning for the families of the slain police officers.
Right.
But let's not forget what brought us to this point. I am not excusing this guy for killing anyone.
If he was white, they'd have been hollering post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
He's a veteran.
What about that young man who killed all those people in the church?
I had a friend of mine who was in Vietnam. He was in special services, what they call the
Special Forces.
Right, special forces.
My brother's in special forces.
Which was like the dirtiest of the dirtiest job in the worst war that America's ever fought. And he became schizophrenic, and every year around the same time he would become schizophrenic.
Right.
He would actually, for all intents and purposes, end up back on the fields of Vietnam. He would be in combat mode. It was always around the same time of year every year. Do you know what time of year that was?
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yep.
You know why?
Because the firecrackers.
The firecrackers.
Yep.
The firecrackers.
That's right.
The firecrackers.
It takes them back to that sense.
Correct.
Hence, maybe the Dallas shooter.
Correct.
But nobody mentions that.
Because he's a black guy. If he was a white guy, they would be delving into all the whys and wherefores that would create this situation.
But no one cares about how this all came about.
Right.
We didn't just this Dallas shooter, Micah Johnson, didn't just wake up and say, "I'm going to shoot polilismen."
Right.
This
wasn't an organization. This was a single person.
Right. This wasn't organized at all. Guys, we have to not let this happen again.
Right.
We have to prevent it. We have to have some preventive maintenance, as we say.
We have serious problems in the United States of America. And we are throwing, not just in America, but the entire world, issues of rape, issues of poverty,
right.
Issues of racism, issues of race, issues of growing disparities between classes of people who were generally used to getting paid a good wage for the work they've done.
Right.
Those jobs are gone,
and they're
will
not
never
back.
come back.
Right. And see, but not to cut you off, Nat. But America, I don't know that you don't want to admit the fact, but know this: those jobs that Nat's talking about, whether Clinton, whether Trump promised you those jobs, this is a fact. Those jobs are not going to return to America. So you have to have, like, we live in a gig economy. If you're not up to a trade or skill, a meaningful skill. I'm not talking about packing boxes for Amazon and shipping them out to me and that. If you don't have some kind of skill or technology, then you're lost in the sauce. So I don't care what presidential candidate will promise you. The reality of it is, it's not going to return. And I think we have a call, guys. Do we have a call? I think you guys want to say we have a call. Yep.
Hello?
Hi,
welcome
how you
to 30
doing?
Frames.
Hey, what up, Nat?
Hi,
Hey, what's up?
right here.
How you doing?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good. Well, glad to hear that the phone is back on.
I know, right?
Yeah, we'll see how long. So I'm glad you got in.
Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
I won't be long.
Good.
I won't be long.
Okay.
All right, we're listening.
What I want to say is that I think that the governor, the commissioner, the president, the Supreme Court, all these people are in cahoots with this legal war against black bodies. And although there are black people out there that are against the black community, what is going on is egregious. And what that Dallas sniper did, he set something off. It's not going to stop. Cops do need to be afraid.
Right.
Prosecutors need to be afraid. Federal workers need to be afraid. The Supreme Court needs to be afraid. They can't walk the streets as comfortable as they did last week.
Right.
The times have changed, and I was born in Minnesota. I came here in 1993. It was never like that when I was growing up. But yeah, they called you nigga and they sprayed stuff by, but it was never that bad. And to see, and from what I understand, this brother is related to me. He's a distant cousin that I just found. Right. So that's why I'm really upset about the Castile shooting. I'm upset about all the shootings.
Right.
I don't mourn for those cops. I know people call me a terrorist or racist or whatever, but I don't mourn. So they don't mourn for Ramarley Graham. They don't mourn for Sandra Bland, and they'll shoot us just like these gangs will kill us.
Right.
They just the same thing. My question to you, what are your predictions in going forward? Not even, and you can't blame Trump. You can't blame Trump. This stuff was going on long before Trump.
Right.
This is not Trump's problem. And even after Trump, it's still going to go down. It's going to go down. It doesn't matter who's president. It's going to take a certain amount of us to band together, and that's the only thing. But my question to you, Nat, and my brother, what are we going to do as a collective, as a small collective, to stay alive?
Right.
And how do we deal with these people like the governor, this dirtbag Cuomo, who knows this stuff is going on? He hasn't mandated anything because they don't care.
Right.
They don't care.
Right.
HOTEP, reinstate automatics. I love you. I'll hang up and answer your question.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the call.
Yep.
Whatever don't kill you makes you strong. And for better or worse, the brother is correct. We have been going through this really since the 1850s.
Right.
I was again. I was talking to Khalil Gibran Muhammad about his book, Condemnation of Blackness, and they have been vilifying black folks in earnest. Tremendous authors have been vilifying black folks since basically they realized that there was the emancipation of black people was coming into view, and these people were possibly going to end up. They're judges, they're political leaders, and they've been freaking out ever since. And they've been condemning black people in mass ever since that. In point of fact, there is a paradigm shift in the order.
Totally.
Black people have gone from secondary to tertiary. We have gone from second to third or worse. That is obvious in the loss of Charlie Rangel's seat to Espaillat. The demographics have changed. The political structure has changed. There is nothing for the black community to do but to go back to concentrating on empowering the black community. That means the black community is going to have to take responsibility for the education of their children because no one else will. We are going to have to be competitive and successful separate and apart from the greater society in order to make any strides in that society.
But here's the issue I have with that. For 40 plus years, Charlie Rangel managed to separate, to destroy Harlem as a whole. But moreover, we black people allowed him to do that.
Correct.
So, you know, from day one since you've known me, I told you, I said, black people in Harlem, you better get a grip or you're going to be lost in the sauce. And Charlie, and look where we are. Espaillat, 52% of Harlem now is Hispanic.
It's Hispanic.
52%. So
and the other 40% is split evenly between blacks and whites.
And the blacks are moving. Spanish Harlem is not Spanish Harlem anymore. It's now gentrification has taken over. From
and the congressional district is not just Harlem anymore. It's Washington Heights and parts of the Bronx.
Washington Heights used to be all Dominican. It's not so much anymore. So guys, I'm telling you, I tell black people all the time, we do it constantly. You need to take care of first your family and your kids. To be a part of the community.
Well, see, and I'm going to say this, and I generally don't mention leaders by name, and I don't want to mention any leaders by name, only because it's not that I feel that I'm wrong about the ones I mentioned. It's the fact that there are so many others that I can't squeeze in. But this whole premise that we need leaders, we need leaders.
Don't.
We have been abrogating authority to people who have their own agenda and their own interests.
It's crazy.
We have made everyone the daddy of our children. We vote like it's some sort of basketball game that they were voting on, and we expect whoever it is we put in office to save us. To save us.
Captain Save All.
That's never going to happen.
No,
because everyone we've ever voted for, or I won't say everyone, I will say 99.9% of the people we vote for have their own agenda and
do
their
not
own
care.
issues.
But what I don't understand,
if they start out caring, the system
somebody
leads them
explain to
somewhere
me.
else.
Explain to me. Let's just talk about Harlem for a minute and Charlie Rangel. Charlie Rangel keeps getting reelected by black people. And to show he's already set his own agenda.
And I might be wrong.
You're not.
You know, but show me the economic, educational, and intellectual growth of Harlem since Inez Diggins, Keith Wright. Well, Adam put in more legislation than anybody in history.
Yep, exactly.
But show me the growth in Harlem, despite the fact that almost all of their political leaders were black. There might be one or two political leaders who actually go outside of their specific area and do things specifically to empower black people.
But
show me the educational progress. You have all city council, all black city council members, black Congress people, black assembly people. Show me the growth.
There is no growth.
And it's not there for, I get back to Trump. It's not Trump's fault.
No, well, you know what?
Trump is taking advantage of the ignorance of the masses.
Right.
The same way every other politician does.
But see, here's the thing. Here's how I see Harlem, though. I want to talk about Harlem one more time. Here's how I see the plan. The plan that was set for the black people in New York and Harlem. See, 125th Street used to be all black businesses.
Right.
Charlie Rangel totally changed that.
Right.
He brought in
Bill Clinton.
They brought in all these national stores.
Right.
And the thing of it is, the people in Harlem don't even work in those stores.
Correct.
Now, if you think about this, if I put all these stores on 125th Street.
Correct.
Do you know what that says? And this is what it is.
It says Negro, you screwed.
The Negroes that live there don't have to go below 125th Street to get what they need.
Right.
So that's what most of Manhattan want.
Right.
All the black people stay in your neighborhood.
Right.
Think about it.
But how is it that you cut a deal with the devil?
Right.
But what did you get out of the devil's deal? You did not get any quid pro quo at all.
Nothing.
You were not able to get more jobs. Unemployment was still at 50%.
Right.
I mean, it was just a waste of time.
Right.
The only thing you did was get white women in strollers sitting in expensive restaurants in the middle of your turf.
Right.
But you didn't get jobs.
Nope.
You didn't get a better educational system. You didn't get anything that would garner upward mobility for yourself and your family out the deal. You got a one-way ticket to South Carolina. That is your future.
Well, you know what's scary is that what I don't understand, you only have to screw me once before I get it. But Harlem, time after time, has been screwed over by politicians. Why?
We need new blood. We need younger people who have an agenda that's about people. I think the boss hog thing has stayed around too long.
Right. And you know what? And you know what? But you know what? You have to change your mind, change your world.
I think Keith Wright would have been horrible for black people.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too. We've had Keith Wright on this show before.
Keith Wright, believe me.
I met with Keith Wright.
Ozzy used to work with Keith Wright.
Right.
Ozzy used to work in Keith Wright's
Again,
office.
another person with his own agenda.
I don't think he has the imagination to come up with an agenda. You know. I think he got this. I think he had his job for life. They pay him. He sit in his office, smoke cigarettes, and you know.
Chase women.
I don't even think he has the imagination to really chase women. I think if a woman falls out the from the floor above and lands in his lap, you know, he'll talk to her.
Let's just talk about America as a whole. I just, unless we have dialogue, we need dialogue. You know, I just saw
I don't
peace.
think we can dialogue our way out of this one.
I don't think so either, but I was just watching the CNN analyst, the captain, New York Police Department, department head, a retired detective, Danny Hawk, or what his name was Hawk.
Right.
And how he said black people were inherently criminals.
Fine.
I said, and I'm trying to figure, you know, it was a big thing, but to say that, to blatantly say that on television.
But they're not afraid. Listen, let me tell you what white people are afraid of. White people are not afraid that black people are criminals. White people are afraid that black people are going to cut them loose. White people are afraid that black people are going to go back, because every time black people would come up with an agenda, a black Wall Street, do anything that empowered their communities, that made more money for black people, white people freaked out. White people didn't freak out because Barack Hussein Obama was a criminal. They freaked out because he was the president.
Right.
He was the president. He was a Harvard graduate. He represented a new type of black person that white people were not prepared to deal with.
Right.
That's what they're afraid of.
And you know what? And then look what, and it threw them into a whole crazy state.
Because they're in a pickle. Look at that shit.
Can we, hold on a second. If you guys got video, if you got audio of that, I want you to rewind that. I want you to hear what this cop said.
Okay,
that
maybe
right there,
they do.
that right there is senseless. And you know what? And I need.
He wasn't selling drugs.
It doesn't matter what he was doing. It wasn't a threat. Look at this. Right there. Shoots him. Listen to him. See? He knew he screwed up. Now watch this. The cop go into his pocket right here and grab a gun. The gun was not even out. So they didn't even know he had a gun. You know what? We're in a sad state that, honestly, what choices do we have now?
I told you. White people are afraid that black people are going to cut them loose. White people are in a pickle. White people are freaking out because brown immigrants are taking jobs en masse.
Right.
If black people start concentrating on their own agendas, that would put Cletus in a bind because he would be ass out.
He would.
There would be nothing that Cletus had to show for his journey than a bunch of kids shooting heroin. Diminishing birth rate and an accelerating premature death rate.
You know what? I am so. I don't even know what to say because.
Dylan Roof had no future.
None.
His friends had no future.
Right.
When he walked into the
he was poor white
black
trash.
church, he was poor white trash.
Right.
It was never going to get any better for him.
Right.
He was never going to learn anything or do anything.
So what was his agenda? Was to go in because what did he say? These black people are stealing our jobs and raping
our women.
And our women.
Right, and raping our women.
Okay, but you know what? He had no future. He had no education. It was a wrap for him. It was a wrap. He would see what kills me about America and how ignorant some of you all are is that you vote Republican, you're poor white trash, or poor black trash. I don't care. Either way, you vote for Republican.
According to America, that's redundant.
Right, okay. But you vote for people who do not have your best interests. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. I just hear in certain neighborhoods where the Hispanic group are so poor, but yet they're Republican. Oh, we hate Barack Obama. Well, I'm just kind of curious. Do you have an EBT card there, my friend? Did I see that? Was that an EBT card? Who do you think signed the legislation so you can keep your EBT card? Obama. If it was up to the Republicans, bro, you wouldn't have an EBT card.
Now,
whatever that is.
I'm going to say this point blank. There is no member of this system that I trust more to prepare my grandchildren, especially my grandson, than me.
Right.
There's none.
I agree.
I don't think there's, and I'll say this categorically. There is only one place that blacks are taught to compete and win against white people, and that is sports.
Sports, and that's sad.
Everywhere else, we are taught to serve.
That's sad.
And until you teach your own to not just compete, but beat their ass, you are going to get used to kissing their ass.
Right. That's well said.
Enough
actually.
is enough.
That's actually well said because you know what? It slays me that we look at these white young kids. They love our swag. They love our culture.
That's right.
They love our swag. They love our culture. But you know what? They still get to go home.
Right.
They get to go home every night.
Right.
You know,
and they get to get paid in full.
Right.
And they get to take your art, and take your culture, and make more money than you would ever. Offer.
But who do you blame for that, Nat? Who do we blame us for that?
Us.
You know, you let this kid take our swag, and instead of being an entrepreneurial about it, you think it's cool.
Right.
You know, you think it's cool to do that.
Because being loved by white people is more important than the well-being of your family.
But that's that slave mentality.
That's that slave mentality.
And we have to get out of that. I don't blame anyone but us for the situation that we're in.
being incarcerated for a lot of people, especially young black people, has become a badge of honor, right?
Right.
Now I'll tell you about irony. There is only one place in the United States of America where slavery is legal, where it is legal to enslave people.
Where is that?
Prison.
Prison. It's true. I knew you were going to say that.
Prison. Prison.
And that,
It
you know
says
what?
there, slavery is abolished except as punishment for crime.
And you know what? The scary part of it is that no one says anything and no one does
You're running
anything about
home
it.
to your master.
Right.
You're
and
running home to your
and now
master.
that they got prisons privatized,
That's right.
it makes it even more of, especially look at Louisiana,
Right.
Angola.
Right.
They are actual slaves that
Right.
work on a plantation.
Correct.
On
Correct.
a chain gang.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
That
And do
is-
tricks for them.
Yeah.
Ride horses.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That just slays me because here's the thing: if it's going to get worse before it gets better, not.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I think I don't even know. You say there's no dialogue that can bring us out of this. What's going to bring us out of this? We need to know what's going to bring us out of this.
I'm hopeful because I see a newer generation on the horizon, and that generation is more gifted intellectually, more gifted scholastically, artistically. It is incumbent upon us to give them the kind of cultural grounding
Right.
that enables them to be who they are with pride. There's also more opportunity. Technology has afforded us an opportunity to start our own in ways that we never could before.
Right.
Ariana Huffington
From the Huffington
became a billionaire off of basically a blog.
A blog. Right. Now it's the #1 blog.
Correct. Netflix.
Yep.
Amazon,
yep.
Hulu, they're all HBO, Showtime,
Right.
they're all developing original programming
Right.
because movies are a dime a dozen.
That's correct.
That means that we have an opportunity to develop our own original programming, cater to a specific market, and be successful in ways that we had to traditionally try to buy NBC to do.
But here's the thing too. But when those opportunities are afforded to us, we need to get away from videos. We need to bring something. Do you see what I'm saying?
Again, videos have been relegated to the way down the end of the cable dial.
Okay, but
original programming.
Then we need to bring something like a Black Wall Street. We saw the movie Wall Street. Why can't we do Black?
We have tremendous stories.
Okay, but we
tell.
need
we
to
just don't tell them.
I don't need to hear
develop
any more slave stories.
I don't want to hear anymore.
I don't want to hear any more hanging out in the ghetto kind of stories.
But this is the forte of the old Negro. I know y'all love TV One. I know that's y'all's
you know what?
thing.
TV One,
but TV One sucks.
TV One is playing. You know what? The same stuff
TV
we've
shows,
already seen.
Right. And it's all old slave shows.
Yeah.
I love Oprah, but Oprah, if I see that raggedy gray slave dress of yours one more time, I'm just gonna go crazy.
I agree with you.
I don't want to see no more butlers.
No.
I don't want to see no more maids. I
don't
want to see none of that crap anymore.
Why can't we have programming like Wall Street on a black
Well,
level?
let me explain
Why
something
can't
to
we
you.
have shows
Let me explain something to you. Why don't we have stories about Henri Christophe in Haiti and Dessalines?
Right.
Why don't we have stories about the Harlem Renaissance?
Right.
Why don't we have stories where we get to be the hero, wear the fancy clothes?
Right. And not tap dancing, jigaboo dancing.
Not be somebody's sidekick in our own story.
Right.
You know, they had this story about Harlem, and the white boy is the hero in the story, instead of our own story where we're the hero.
And then we need to get to that instead of get away. We have so much to offer the world.
Correct.
But yet our mindset, we need to change your mind, change the world.
Correct.
And that's what I tell you, guys, change your mind, change the world, and live your dream.
Right.
If you don't live your dream, guess what?
Right.
You're going to live somebody else's.
Right.
So why not live yours?
If you just take the Harlem Renaissance, I'm not
Right.
even going to go to other places. We're in New York.
Right.
If you just take the Harlem Renaissance, you see some of the greatest artists and intellectuals the world has ever known.
Ever.
Stories about Arturo Schomburg.
Right.
Stories about James Weldon Johnson.
Right.
Stories about the jazz era.
Oh, my goodness.
Stories about artists like Romare Bearden.
Right.
I mean, all of these stories, they're not just stories about Harlem, they're international stories. Because
and they're loved by international more than they are in the United States.
Correct. France's
Loved
whole culture
Yep,
was crafted around
the
Harlem art
Renaissance, yep.
and Harlem and African American culture.
But why don't we do that? Why? What is that? What is the issue here?
Because we are so consumed about getting a contract with White Daddy and sitting on the toilet next to White Daddy that we are
even
not
the young,
involved
this
in
generation,
doing anything.
even this generation, you think is concerned with that?
I don't think no. I think this coming generation is you're getting a generation that is more in tune with going to school,
right?
More in tune with learning classical arts. More in tune with understanding history. I think that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It makes Sarah Dash uncomfortable. It makes Wendy Williams uncomfortable.
Right.
But the hell with Sarah Dash. And
the hell with Wendy Williams.
Right.
She didn't even know her history.
Right. And nobody cares
right.
what Wendy Williams like. Somebody cares, but it's nobody I know.
No, right, right. She's last of the dying breed.
And we have an opportunity to do great things, separate and apart from having to sign on to
be a part of
being his sidekick.
Right.
I mean, you don't get sick of that?
But see, this is what bothers me. People like Wendy Williams, even people when, Whoopi Goldberg.
Right.
When Jesse Williams came out, and there was nothing racist that Jesse Williams said.
Correct.
What he said was how the world is treating African Americans.
Correct.
Now, what scares me?
He did white people a favor because
white people are not going to say it.
I say cut him loose. I don't even give him the time it takes to the hell with him. The hell with him. Let's do us.
But I look at people like Whoopi, who just went out and what's that other poor child's name? The young chick that played in Clueless. Stacey Dash.
Stacey Dash girl.
Stacey Dash.
The Dash lady.
You know, I mean, those black people are dangerous.
No. I think it's time to listen.
Well,
this
white
is
people
America.
don't want them.
That's not my fault. You can be on any team you want to.
Right.
If you don't want to be on this team, leave the team. Go to your team.
But don't play on both sides.
You know, what I'm saying is there are opportunities for us to build markets in ways that we never were able to build markets before.
Right.
For the first time in the history of my life, I have enough skills and enough talent, both technical talent and artistic talent, to actually cut the system loose and start my own stuff.
We've cut the system loose long ago. I've cut the system loose long ago.
They have finally messed around till they played in my ballpark.
Right. Likewise.
Fine.
You know, the worst thing they taught me some skills that I don't need you.
I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore.
I don't count on you. And you know me, I don't care what you think of me.
And I'm going to tell you, anyone 50, 60 years old who has no skills,
you lost, baby.
It's going to be very difficult for you to develop skills at this point. However, there is no excuse for you leaving your children barefoot and hungry without any bullets in their guns to
I just want to say this, Nat.
Accomplish anything.
Black America in general, I don't even know. We're usually about solutions here. We're the state in the United States where we're on the verge.
Yeah, I think the phones went out because the numbers went.
We're on the verge of disaster. We're on the verge of destroying ourselves. We're destroying, I don't advocate a war. We need to do something. And right now, the only thing I could possibly see is to sit down and understand one another. That's all. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. Just sit down and understand one another. Now, I'm going to let you go out on this.
In terms of white supremacy and racist white America, there's a part of me that's ambivalent. Because there's a part of me that is fully equipped and prepared to take my ball and go play basketball in my own yard.
Right.
A lot of people are very angry at white America.
Right.
And I am angry at white America for the things they do.
Right.
But again,
you can
it's
be
time
angry
for
because
us
right.
to do us.
Do us, right?
Now, if you want to come, if you want to be civilized and act like somebody got some good sense,
right?
You know, then fine, we can sit at the movie together.
Right,
you know,
right.
But if you want to be Trumpian.
That's a good
And be
word.
and just be a crazy redneck,
right.
then you can do that on your own time, in your own space.
Right.
I'm sorry that you're losing your jobs.
Right.
I'm sorry
you've
that
lost
you
your
don't.
job.
Right. I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. I don't care. You ain't said no prayer for me.
Right.
You never went to. I don't think you went to bed and went, oh
right.
Lord, please let
this black man
get something to eat. You
right.
know. So
I'm not sorry.
I'm ambivalent about that.
Right.
I don't think about it one way or the other. I know you have your problems. You've gone dope fiend. You ain't making no money. I know all of that is a challenge. But as someone who has been challenged all his life,
right.
I'm saying, hang in there, trooper.
you know, change your mind.
Right.
Wait, change your mind.
That's right.
Change the world. And that's the scary part, man. I don't see it. We have to do us, they have to do them.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to do us as a whole, or the United States are going to be destroyed. Just straight up.
The United States is the capital of this country. The United States...
They try to be. We were a capitalist country.
And capitalist is probably...
That's a bit
not the
stretching
right
it.
word.
Yeah,
well,
it's a bit stretching.
It's a corporatocracy.
Right.
And it's a global corporatocracy. It's not even the United States. There's a global corporatocracy that's put in place mechanisms to ensure its survival with or without the masses of uneducated white people.
That's a...
Oh yeah, they're playing our song.
Okay, not to cut you off, but guys, I want to thank everybody.
Good luck on that, white folks.
I want to thank everybody for watching 30 Frames, and it's our pleasure to educate those and tell you what's going on. You're here, raw and uncut. Remember this, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still among the stars. Nat, thank you for letting me host your show, as always. I love you, brother.
I love you too, brother.
Man. So, you know what? We'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel, channel 34, and look at us live on the web. Until then, deuces. We're out.
Power to the people. Power to